9-2, Part 1, Introduction to Angles. Okay, so an angle. It's kind of hard to define. It's basically formed at the intersection of two rays or line segments. It's the area in between. The vertex, that's the point at which the two line segments, lines or rays meet to form an angle. So point A here would be the vertex. Now the sides for the angle would be line segment AB and line segment AC. A couple different things we can call the angle. We can call it angle BAC, angle CAB, or angle A. Now there's several different types of angles. Most of them you're probably familiar with. First common one is the acute angle, and that's where the angle that measures less than 90 degrees. I always kind of think of it as a cute little angle because it's smaller than 90, so it's the small one. Cute things tend to be small. Right angle, most of us are familiar with this. We'll see a little square in the vertex, and that's an angle that measures exactly 90 degrees. Then we have our big angle, known as our obtuse, and that's an angle that measures more than 90 degrees but less than 180. So it's bigger than a right angle but less than a straight line. I think of obtuse, I think of obese, which means fat. So I kind of think of this as like the fat angle because it's big. Then you have your straight angle, which is basically a straight line, and it measures exactly 180 degrees. So here I'd like to name adjacent angles. An adjacent angle means next to. So adjacent means next to. I want you to name three different angles. So we can start with angle YXW. And when you do an angle like that, you want to have the vertex be the middle letter. So we could also call it YXW. Again, the X is in the middle because it's the vertex. We have here YXZ, or we could call it ZXY. Then we have this big angle, which we could call either YXZ or ZXW. Again, vertex always has to be in the center, so you'll notice that in all six of these, the X is in the middle. You can't name any of these angles just angle X, because then how do you know which angle are you talking about? So if there's more than one possible answer, then you pretty much have to do all three points. So what I'd like you to do here is to name the following: one acute angle, two obtuse angles, two right angles, and one straight angle. So go ahead, pause the video, take a look at the picture, and attempt to take a guess as to what the correct answers would be here. Okay, so one acute angle. That could be right here, angle BEC or CEB. We then have our obtuse angles. Oh, sorry, did right angles here. So that one should be pretty obvious. So that's angle AED or DEA. Now we need to name another one here, and that's going to be right here, because if AED is 90 degrees, then CED or DEC is also going to be 90 degrees. Obtuse angles, remember those are more than 90 degrees. We have one right here, AEB or BEA. And then we also have this one right here, BED or bed, and angle DEB. Then we want a straight angle. That could be AEC or CEA. Complementary angles. Those are angles whose sum is 90 degrees. Remember, sum means to add, so we're looking for two angles, two or more angles actually, that add up to 90 degrees. Popular today. Okay. So, in this case, the measure of angle A, that's what the M stands for, it means measure, plus the measure of angle B add up to 90 degrees. Therefore, they are complementary. Remember, like I just said, M with the angle sign means the measure of angle. Complementary angles don't have to be adjacent, so I could have this angle and this angle, but as long as when I add them together, I get 90 degrees, then they are complementary. So would you find the complementary angle of the measures below? I'll help you with the first one. So we have 30 degrees. We want the complement to that. Remember, it's going to be 30 degrees plus what equals 90 degrees? Well, that's going to be 60 degrees. 30 plus 60 is 90. So having given you that hint, would you please try the other 7? What would be the complementary angles for those? Pause the video and come back when you're ready. Okay, so for number 2, 49 plus what equals 90? Well, 49 plus 41 equals 90, so those two are complementary. 80 plus what is equal to 90? 80 plus 10 is equal to 90, so 80 degrees and 10 degrees are complementary. For 62 degrees, the complement would be 28 degrees. 62 plus 28 equals 90. Number 5, 65 degrees. 25 plus 65 is 90. Number 6 is 13 degrees. 77 plus 13 equals 90. Number 7, we have 37 degrees. Add those two together and you get 90 degrees. Number 8, kind of a trick problem. It has no complement. You can't have a negative angle, so it's not going to work. So that's kind of a trick question. It has to be less than 90 to have a complement. Supplementary angles, pretty similar to complementary, but instead it's angles whose sum is 180 degrees. So they add up to 180. So if I have the measure of angle K plus the measure of angle T, that adds up to 180 degrees, then they are complementary. Again, they don't have to be connected. As long as when I put them together, the degrees adds up to 180, they're complementary. So, I said complementary, I meant supplementary. So, find the supplements of the following: 18 degrees, 104 degrees, 31 degrees, 75 degrees, 148 degrees, 62 degrees, 159 degrees, and then we're going to give you a little trick one on number 8. So we'll start out again and do number 1 together. Remember, we're looking for the supplement, which adds up to 180. So 18 plus what equals 180? Well, that would be 162 degrees. Want to make sure that you put your degree signs in there. Don't just put the number. Alright, so would you try at least the next 6? I know number 8 will be a little bit tough, but give it a shot, see if you can at least take a guess at it. Pause the video, come back when you're ready. Alright, so for number 2, 104 plus what equals 180? That would be 76 degrees. Number 3, 31 degrees plus what number of degrees equals 180? That will be 149 degrees. 75 degrees plus what equals 180? 105 degrees. Number 5, 148 degrees would be 32 degrees. Number 6, we have 118 degrees. Number 7, 21 degrees. And if you have questions on those, feel free to ask me either on Edmodo or in class the following day. Number 8 is our tricky one. The complement of 50 degrees, sorry. So what's the complement of 50? Well, remember, complement means they add up to 90. So 50 plus what is 90? That would be 40 degrees. So then what's the supplement of 40 degrees? That would be 100.